got to keep them in fighting shape, amen? Now, on Wednesday night, I'll tell y'all something. I wasn't going to tell them, Sister William, but I'm going to tell them. On Wednesday night, when we have the 7 last words, he's preaching word number 1, amen? Now, he's told me plenty of times, he said, Al, I'm not preaching, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. Ever since I was a child, and there's some folks in here that knew me as a child, I've never done too well with rules all the time, amen? So he tells me no, and I say yes. Amen. If you have your Bibles, open up to John chapter 11. We're going to begin reading at verse 56, and we will read down through chapter 12. John chapter 11. The Gospel according to John, we are beginning at verse 56, and we will read through chapter 12 and verse 8. I have the New American Standard Version, whatever version you have is fine. Say amen if you're there. Amen. So they were seeking for Jesus, and were saying to one another as they stood in the temple, "What do you think? That he will not come to the feast at all?" Now the chief priests and the Pharisees had given orders that if anyone knew where he was to report it, so that they might seize him. Chapter 12, verse 1. Jesus, therefore, 6 days before the Passover, came to Bethany, where Lazarus was, whom Jesus had raised from the dead, so they made him a supper there. And Martha was serving, but Lazarus was one of those reclining at the table with him. Mary then took a pound of very costly perfume of pure nard and anointed the feet of Jesus and wiped his feet with her hair. And the house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume. But Judas Iscariot, one of his disciples who was intending to betray him, said, "Why was this perfume not sold for 300 denarii and given to poor people?" Now he said this not because he was concerned about the poor, but because he was a thief. And as he had the money box, he used to pilfer what was put into it. Therefore Jesus said, "Let her alone, so that she may keep it for the day of my burial. For you always have the poor with you, but you do not always have me." The Lord has blessed his word. For the next few moments, friends, I will share with you from the subject, Eyes Wide Shut. Eyes Wide Shut. You ever have a favorite something, a favorite pair of shoes, a favorite shirt, a favorite pair of pants, a favorite hat, whatever the case may be? I have a favorite Bible. And I'm trying to work through the fact that I left that Bible right next to my bed where I was reading last night. So pray for me, amen? It really doesn't matter, the same words are there, but it's just that comfort. I like what I like, amen? Amen. Eyes wide shut. Here we are, 6 days. 6 days before Jesus will find himself in Jerusalem. 6 days to prepare for what is to come. 6 days to get ready. 6 days in order to center his heart. 6 days in order to wrap his mind around the idea, the reality that all those years ago when he and the Father and the Spirit had said that this would be. All the time that was in the beginning of time when there wasn't anything and the Spirit was hovering over the face of the deep. Here we are 6 days before what John had said in the beginning, that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. We've now whittled it down to 6 days. Jesus has known about it since the millennium. He's known about it since the time had come when Adam had eaten the fruit. But now we are here 6 days for him to prepare to bleed. 6 days for him to be there as his disciples run for cover. 6 days before the water and blood flow out of his side. 6 days before he puts somebody over his mother. 6 days before he tells the thief, "Today you will be with me in paradise." 6 days, I tell you. It seems as if we have walked into the final countdown. We've known Jesus for a while now. And it only makes sense that he finds himself in Bethany. For you see, in Bethany, here we are 1.5 miles outside of Jerusalem, right on the southeastern slope of the Mount of Olives. It only makes sense that he finds himself in Bethany. For you see, it lets us know that at the time of the Passover, there was no more room for him in Jerusalem. But ever since we've met Jesus, we've known him to be a displaced God. Amen. Ever since we were introduced to him in the stable of Bethlehem, we knew him to be misplaced, out of sorts, in places that you would not necessarily expect him. It didn't seem right when he was a baby, that he would be born amongst the animals and in the hay. And if you've ever been to a barn in the hay, you know what it smells like. It's not the sanitary smell of the hospital of the University of Pennsylvania. It is the smell of animals, the smell of stink. That is where we were introduced to Jesus. But amazingly, like people like us and people all over the world, we were able to see the beauty in the midst of the stink, in the midst of the dirt, in the midst of him being a displaced God. Next time we saw Jesus, he was displaced again. Don't you recall? His family came for the festival and the feast, and when they left in the caravan, they could not find Jesus. Where is Jesus? Jesus should be with us. Jesus should be where we are going. Jesus should be coming back home. But Brother Darrell, they did not realize that here is a displaced God. They found him in the temple. And he was talking about the things of his Father. See, I don't want to go down that vein with the Father yet, because I'm preaching about that in about 2 weeks, amen. I don't want to give it away too soon. But nevertheless, we find him being displaced. And Sister Hazel, it's amazing that every time we see Jesus, it's somewhere that we don't necessarily expect Jesus. The first time he has a miracle, where do you see Jesus? Not in the church or the synagogue, but he's at a party where they drinking wine. It would seem as if, why is he here? Why is Jesus there? He's there that he might bless a woman of his mother and bless the family and be with the community. Every time we see Jesus, it's somewhere we don't expect him. He finds himself at the well in the middle of the day to meet a woman who hasn't met a husband that she doesn't want to marry. Every time we see him, he's somewhere else. He's touching on dead people and hanging out with lepers and talking to prostitutes and blessing those who are on the underbelly of life. We see him displaced in spaces that we don't expect him to be. And here we find him in Bethany. There is no more room in Jerusalem, for the feast has been so well attended that there is no more space. And it seems about right that he's in Bethany. For you see in chapter 11 and verse 56, we see that the text tells us that the word was out on the street that said, when you see Jesus, make sure you come and find me, for we will arrest him. See what it says in verse 57, and it says that if anyone knew where he was to report it so that they might seize him. Chapter 12, so Jesus therefore, everyone say therefore. Since he knew there were some people out to get him, since he knew the sacrifice that was going to have to be, since he understood the gravity of the situation, he decided that before I go there, I want to stop off and be with my friends. Everybody likes to have friends. Even if you only have one friend, it's good to have one friend. It's a lonely existence if you have no friends. And even in that space, there is one friend, because I've never had a friend like Jesus. But he decides he wants the experience that comes by being around people that know you, people that love you, people that will bless you, people that will encourage you, people that will pray for you, people that will eat with you. You just don't want to eat with everybody. Amen. And it has nothing to do with the quality of the food. All right. Some folks, the way they eat and how they talk when they eat and what they say while you're eating, it'd be better left alone. But here in the situation, Jesus is looking for that Cheers experience. You know what that is, right? Where everybody knows your name. And they're always glad that you came. Here it is, he finds himself, and you see where he goes to Lazarus' home. See, they have some history together. See, some friends are new friends, or maybe they find themselves as fair weather friends, but there's some of us that have some friends that go back the days, that go back the years, that go back the time, and even in the space where you've grown to the strong Christian that you are, and maybe they haven't made it to where you think they ought to be, but yet they are still your friend. They will still come in the midnight hour when you call them. They will still help you in your time of need. They will still speak words of comfort and encouragement. You still have a friend. He and Lazarus got history together. For you see, when Lazarus died, they didn't call for the undertaker. They didn't call for everybody else. They said, Jesus, will you come? My brother is sick. See, you don't call everybody when your family member is sick, because some folks don't know what to say when they get there. They come there saying all types of things that have nothing to do with the scenario. They don't understand this idea of ministry of presence. Just sitting there if you don't have anything to say. They try to make up something to say, and then they do more harm than good. But see, they had history with Jesus. Mary, Martha, and Lazarus. When Lazarus got sick, they said, go get Jesus. Yes. Mainly because they knew that if Jesus was there, Sister Shirley, Lazarus would yet live. Amen. When you find Jesus here 6 days before the ultimate sacrifice, and he finds himself in Bethany, a displaced God outside of Jerusalem, and he goes there because he wants to be with his friends. So they decided to make him a supper. I know we some folks, we know how to eat, amen? I've always embraced this reality when I look around, yes. I've always embraced the reality of being an African American, a black American, whatever they want to say, I am that. I get tired of trying to figure it out all the time. Like I always got to define me. But I've always embraced it. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I remember the days when we would go to Mississippi in the summertime, and we show up as the city kids from Philadelphia. You see, we the only ones that were up here. We the only Houstons on this side of the country. And we would go down there, and I used to always love it because my grandmother used to make all this food. And she used to make these preserves. She would put them in these mason jars, and any flavor I wanted. It was like I showed up, and I could just say, Grandma, I want the blackberry ones. And she said, get them for the baby. And then I'd say, I want the blueberry ones. And she said, get them for the baby. I know there were some folks looking at me, Sister Joey, saying he's so spoiled, but I didn't care. When I came to town, Grandma gave me what I wanted. She would fry the chicken the way I liked it, and I liked the butter beans that had a nice piece of meat in the middle. And I love some cornbread. I love it. I love that folks that know how to eat. Now, and some of y'all saying, well, Pastor, you shouldn't eat all those things. Everything in moderation, amen. So I'll just eat fried chicken on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'll help you out. I ate a salad on Tuesday, but nevertheless, when Jesus shows up in Bethany at his friend's house, the image that we see is of friends eating. And we are introduced to 3 separate ways to serve. 3 separate ways to serve. There are some that say, I want to serve, but I only want to serve in this way. Or better yet, the greater message is, they say, I want to enter into ministry. God has called me into ministry. The question is this: what part of ministry has he called you to? Amen. Yes. It's not this idea that just says there's one type. All right. Yes, there's an opportunity to preach if that is where the Lord has called you. But if the Lord hasn't called you to preach, I encourage you, as your brother in Christ, stay far away from this pulpit. Amen. Amen. See, because you're playing with your own reality. I was talking to my father the other day, and we were talking, eating some food, and I said, Sister Bernadette, I said, I don't understand how folks start playing with church and with God. I don't understand it. They stand up and they ain't really have anything to say. God didn't tell them anything to say. They just decided in their own self to stand up there and to say something. I'd be scared out of my mind if I didn't know that God called me to this word. I'd be looking for the lightning every time I said something. I'd be wondering, is this going to be the day that I fall out? You can't play with God. See, folks have gotten so fancy free, and they understand that I can do anything at the tap of a button. I can post on the Facebook. I can do on the Instagram. I can make my own reality because everything is so easy. But let me tell you something right now. It takes time to serve God. And don't let anyone tell you any different. Young people, listen to me and listen to me well. This is not a matter of a drive-through relationship with God. You know, I drive through, tell him what I want, and then he gives it to me in a bag with some ketchup. Absolutely not. They find themselves here eating, and we see 3 opportunities to serve. The first one we are introduced to is Martha. And Martha is like many people. This is a woman who gives an honest effort. She says to herself, Jesus is here. Jesus is here and he's my friend. And not only that is he my friend, he's my God. And so what I want to do is I want to serve him the best. Imagine Martha as the one who goes and gets the good china from the closet. Imagine Martha as the one that says, you can't give Jesus that cup, give him this cup. You can't give Jesus that. Jesus gets the big piece of everything. She has an opportunity to serve with her hands and her feet. She has an opportunity to serve with her heart as she serves all those that are around. For the feast, the festival is not just about Jesus and the 3 of them. We have the understanding that there are many in that space. And she has the opportunity to serve. Some of you may be in that space. You may say, God has called me to serve in such a way that you want to work with the culinary ministry, the hospitality ministry, or whatever the case may be. There is an opportunity yet for you.
Amen.
Then we see Lazarus. Now, Lazarus, it would seem in verse 2, Lazarus was one of those reclining at the table with him. Now you say, what is Lazarus doing? Belly up to the table, eating all the food with everybody else. And notice how it says he's reclining at the table. That gives you an image of a lot of things, does it not? The image that says he just eaten his first plate, Sister Dara, and now he's looking for plate number 2. Or, man, he's going to stay for a while there at the table with Jesus. But that in itself is ministry. That in itself is an opportunity to serve. How? You look at me and say, and why? How can that be possible? For the reality is when you are about to face a difficult point in life, you want some folks that'll just sit there without looking at the watch.
Amen.
That'll just stay for a while and not always look around, I have to go somewhere. When you're about to deal with some difficult situations that are ahead. And I don't know anything more difficult than what Jesus was about to deal with.
All right.
I don't know anybody else who wanted the stakes to go through their hands and their feet. I don't know anybody else who wanted to carry a cross until a man came to carry it for him. I don't know anybody else who wanted the reality that Jesus in 6 days was about to live. And so therefore Lazarus said, since you're my friend, since you called me out of the tomb, what I will do, Jesus, is I'll just sit with you.
All right.
I'll just stay with you. I won't say I have to go, even though I don't have anywhere to go. I won't say my phone is ringing, even though the phone hasn't rung one time. I won't say there's somebody calling me. No, Jesus, I value you.
Amen.
So I will stay with you.
Okay.
Be with you. Because I know what you need right now. You ever have a friend who comes around and they don't have to say a word, but you know that something is in their space?
Amen.
You know something's going on, and you may not even say it. You'll just try to love them in the midst of it.
Amen.
You got to keep your eyes wide open for opportunities to serve. We saw Martha serve. We saw Lazarus with his opportunity to serve in relationship and fellowship. But now we meet Mary. We meet Mary. And her opportunity to serve is in such an extravagant way. Extravagant love. See, you can love, but then to love with extravagance. Note what happens with Mary. She takes this costly perfume. Is the perfume to anoint a dead body? Is this perfume to fill the air with good smell? But she takes this perfume that is worth a lot of money. And even outside of the perfume, she takes that which is valuable to her. See, it happens all the time. Folks say, well, can you give me something? And we simply give what we don't want. See, it's a different reality when we decide to give what we value the most.
Amen.
What we value right here says she takes this nard and she decides to anoint Jesus' head. We know through the scriptures that to anoint someone's head is a sign of respect. But note the humility of Mary. She doesn't even value herself enough to say, I can anoint your head. She says, Jesus, I recognize that I am not on your level, so I will anoint your feet. See, this ethic of humility, this ethic that says I'm not all that I think I am. I'm all I am and all I ever will be is found in Jesus Christ. See, there's some of us that find ourselves in trouble because we have this idea that we are on this greater plane than everybody else we meet. And all of a sudden it puts us in difficulty because it says that Jesus says that if you will come, then we're all in that family together. You're not a different type of brother. That's probably the problem that many folks had with me when we got to Mississippi. They were mad because I had the willingness to ask for what I wanted. See, they wanted the potato pie, but they didn't have the gumption to ask for it. See, I didn't have any problem. But I only asked when my grandfather wasn't around. It's the truth. As soon as he went to the right, I said, Grandma. But here she takes what is of great value to her and she decides that I'm going to anoint the part of the body that folks don't want to touch. See, it's not a matter of walking around with Nikes and walking around with Timberlands and walking around with red-bottom shoes. No, Jesus had on some sandals and there wasn't a whole lot of blacktop, Brother Stafford. And so therefore, as you're walking, you get the dirt right in the middle of the toe and the dirt right underneath the toenail. And you know that time that you try to stay away from. You try to get the top powder to go on top of it. No, Jesus didn't have any of those things. Just imagine the feet of Jesus.
Yeah.
Woo! See, you don't want to think about that. You don't like thinking about corns and all those things. But the reality is that you were walking as much as Jesus was walking. And you had the shoes that Jesus had. He didn't have those great toes that y'all have when you come out of the nail place. Finally, they tried to get me to go. I went one time. I'll tell you the story because Erica's not here. She said, you should go. You should go. I went the one time, Brother Will. I felt so out of place. I mean, I felt so soft. I mean, I'm sorry. Oh, my gosh. I said, hurry up. Do what you got to do. I have to leave. I put my head down. I didn't want anyone to see me. And we wear socks and shoes. What about Jesus? Mary takes what is most valuable to her and approaches the part of his body that is seemingly the dirtiest. And she decides, I'm going to anoint your feet with the best that I have because I love you so much. But see, let's take it one step further. See, because oftentimes we can be in a space where we want to give the best that we have, and we're doing it out of the joy and the love that's in our hearts. But she takes it to the next scenario, where you see the woman's hair was her crown. So now let's get the image. Let's get the image of a woman that has maybe a bun in her hair, Brother Nall, and then all of a sudden when it comes time to wash the dirty feet that don't have any socks, that has all the dirt on the in-between, he's been walking for a while. And now all of a sudden she takes it out the bun and it falls down. She gets on her knees and she pours the expensive oil, and now you know like I know that the dirt doesn't just fall off. You gotta scrub for a little bit. But she doesn't take a cloth. She doesn't take a Brillo pad. She doesn't take a sponge. She takes her head and she begins to wipe. For you see, her eyes were wide open to the opportunity that was in front of her, that I had the opportunity to serve and give love to Jesus. Do we have our eyes open today? Are our eyes open to the call that God is calling us to right now? Are we driving by opportunities that we can bless someone and help someone and encourage someone? Or are we moving so fast that we don't see what God has placed in our midst? There are some who say, I want to get married and I haven't found the right one. You got to open your eyes to to the nice guy who's found himself in the friend zone.
Amen.
Oh, that's the truth, isn't it? Isn't that the truth? All of a sudden they start saying, this is the man I want, and they got a friend named Jerome who meets all those criteria. But he's in the friend zone. The same thing with the brothers. The brothers say, well, I need to find a wife. And I say, have you opened your eyes to the woman that's sitting next to you in church every day? Or you find yourself out at the singles outing saying, I'm going to find someone here. Eyes wide open. Mary begins to wash the feet with her hair. But notice what happens when you are willing to serve in an extravagant way. Note that the text says that the scent filled the room. Yes, we know that the perfume has a smell, but I like to look a little deeper underneath the text, Sister Dawn, that lets us know that when we are able to show the love in an extravagant way, it permeates all throughout wherever we find ourselves. See, it wasn't just the smell of the perfume that was permeating the air. It was the reality that said, this is what it looks like to love. Yes. And the same is for you and I. We each play an important role in the ethos, in the environment of this local church that we come to. Amen. Each one of us has an opportunity to fill this air with the fragrance of love. Amen. But sometimes we miss it. Sometimes we say, well, it's the pastor's job, it's the minister's job, it's the choir's job. No, it's each and every one of us. Well, you see, it wasn't Jesus who filled the room with the fragrance of the perfume. It was Mary. Yes. It was Mary who was able to take the dirt that was on his feet and wash it with her hair and bless everybody around, because those sitting at the table, reclining with Lazarus, they had to see it. I guess you really do love him. I guess you do really care for him. But there are some, my brothers and sisters, who even though their eyes are open, they can't see what's in front of them. Amen. In Psalms 119 and verse 18, it tells us, open my eyes, that I may behold wonderful things. Matthew 13 and 16, but blessed are your eyes, because they see, and your ears, because they hear. Here we are in this space that folks are awake, eating together, being together before the feast, and there are some who still can't see exactly what's in front of them. Yeah. Judas. Everyone say Judas. Judas. Oh, we know when we say the word Judas, it kind of riles up on the inside of us. Some of y'all say, grrr, when you hear Judas. You get a messed up face when you hear the name Judas, because you know Judas is coming. But one thing you always have to remember with Judas is that Jesus chose him too. See, don't miss it. Don't say that Judas crashed the party or Judas wasn't invited. Jesus called Judas the same way he called John. The same way he called Peter. The same way he called all of them, because he said, Judas, I have work for you to do too. Yes. Isn't it amazing that we find out so many chapters before that Judas would be the one to betray him, yet Jesus trusts him to take care of the money? Jesus trusts him to take care of the money. Now that's a space if you want some problems in your personal life or church life, just start messing with folks' money. You won't have to look for a problem. The problem's going to find you. Start messing with the money. But notice how Jesus says, Judas, you can hold on to the money. It lets us know some things. Did Judas have a gift of money? Did he have a gift? Did the love of money destroy who he was and corrupt who he was, that he began to steal from the purse? I don't know. That's something that's always puzzled me. Because Jesus, he could have been a disciple and not been in charge of the money. But Jesus said you can be in charge of the money too. And so we see in this space, Judas says, why in the world are you doing this? We could have taken that perfume and sold it for 300 denarii and given all this money to the poor. We could have done all these different things. Why did you waste it on Jesus' feet? Even though his eyes were open, he could not see that they had the ability to serve Christ. Even though he was there, he wanted to say he was doing something good, but yet he did not know. He did not understand what was in front of him. And Jesus then goes back to Deuteronomy. And he lets them know that there will always be poor with you. See, in Deuteronomy chapter 15, you'll read the text where the text tells you that the poor will always be with you, therefore give to the poor. That is where the text comes from. But Jesus says, you will always have the poor with you, but you will not always have me. Isn't that a great indictment on the life that we live? To those people that are on the left and the right, the loved ones that we go home to, the friends that we say we have, they will not always be with us in the flesh. How do you treat them right now? I remember Sister Janie Thompson, who said it before years ago. She said, I want my flowers while I can smell them, or something along those lines. It's this idea to say, when you have the opportunity, don't miss the opportunity because you're thinking about tomorrow. Deal with right now.
Amen.
If you want to tell someone you love them, tell them right now. If you want to help someone in need, don't say, I'm going to wait till next week. Do it right now, because Jesus tells you, you're always going to have the poor with you. But Judas, open your eyes and see that I will not always be here, because in 6 days. Everyone say 6 days. 6 days I'm going into the tomb. Everyone say 6 days. 6 days. 6 days they're going to put a crown of thorn on my head. Six days. 6 days I'm going to have to be and deal with the sins of the world and say, my God, why have you forsaken me? So Judas, open your eyes to the fact that you can bless me right now. You can help me right now. You can serve me right now. You can pray for me right now. And don't mind Mary. Mary was willing to give all that she had and the expensive perfume and my dirty feet and wash it with her hair because she loved me and wanted to serve me. And I ask the same question of you, my brothers and sisters. Are we willing to serve the way that Christ is giving us the opportunity to serve? Are we willing to give the way Christ is giving us the opportunity to give? Or are we waiting for the right opportunity as we see it? See, Mary took what was in front of her. The perfume, her hair, and the dirt. She got on her knees and she served. And the same is for both you and I. As your brother, as your pastor, keep your eyes open. There's work to be done. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen. Well, now you have a great opportunity. A great opportunity, and that opportunity is to receive Jesus Christ. Now you may say to yourself, well, I don't know if today is the day. Mary, Martha, and Lazarus didn't wait until 5 days before he came to Jerusalem. They didn't wait till 4 days. They didn't wait for 3 days. It says 6 days they decided they were going to serve. 6 days they were going to eat with them and share with them and serve him and bless him, because they had to take advantage of the opportunity that they had that day. And right now you have an opportunity right now. Now what happens tomorrow? I don't know. If I knew, you could call me a prophet. See, I'm not a prophet, I'm just a pastor. And that's good enough for me. But I don't know about tomorrow. I don't know about next week. Jesus might come after church today. I don't know. But if you've never received Jesus, I invite you to come right now. He says if you come, I can do things for you no one else can do. I can bless you in ways that no one else can bless you. Second, if you want to be a member of a good church, it's a good place to be right here. It's a good place to be. The Lord has blessed us. And we are always careful to give honor and praise to God. For it is Him who allows us to do all that we do. And allows us to be all that we are. If you want to be a member of a good church, I invite you to come. Now you may say, well, I'll join next week. I don't know about next week. What about next year? I don't know about next year. But I know right now, while I have breath in my lungs and blood in my veins, that we can come together right now. Last but not least, if you want someone to pray with you, know what I said, I want to pray with you. See, that requires us to agree about some things. See, I agree that God can do what we don't think he can necessarily do. For you see, it says that I can do exceedingly more than you can even ask. So you can't even ask. We can't even ask for all that God can do. I invite you to come. Let us stand. Doors of the church are open. Let them who come, let them come.